Shall we begin?
So mean. Were you that dad?
Let's begin.
3, 2, 1. Hey. Hashtag Camelstrong back with the number 5 podcast. Thank you, Ross. I was like, hey, why is he waving at me? Today we've got
hashtag the John May.
Wait a minute. Can I just stop and say, don't you like hearing him say that himself?
It's like, it feels weird saying that. I'll never get used to that.
Deep bass voice comes out.
The John May.
With hashtag the Chicken King.
Why do I have to be the Chicken King?
It fits.
You haven't came up with one yet.
It fits.
I need to come up with one, man.
I mean, I don't have one either.
Hashtag RossFit.
Hashtag RossFit. Yeah, I feel like I can use that. We've got to find another one.
Okay, great. What about you?
Hashtag the wannabe.
The wannabe?
I like that one. Hashtag the wannabe. Shout out to whoever can give me a hashtag for the next podcast.
Help him out.
Help me out. We're still also looking for a hashtag for the three of us.
Yes.
We still need
a name.
I didn't see anybody reply to that. Maybe nobody.
Maybe we need to make a separate post.
Separate post.
Well, today is just us.
Just the three of us.
And so when we're talking about what we're doing on the podcast, obviously once a month we want to have a podcast with the athlete of the month. And then wanted to put out another podcast in the middle of the month. And our brains were working so great that we couldn't come up with anybody else to invite. Not that we don't have any interesting people to invite, but we thought we'd just have one of us just talking about some different topics and go from there.
So, here's your chance. Here's your chance if you want to hear somebody on the podcast that's not a member of the month coming up. Not that you would know who that is, but if you want to hear about somebody, let us know. We'll get them on here.
And that's not going to be like Tia or Rich or people we can get a hold of.
I mean, if I need to call up Rich, I can just call him. I'll get him to come down.
So, well, we wanted to... we were thinking about a couple of topics today. Obviously, I think the hottest thing in CrossFit world right now is all the changes to the games and everything. And so we thought we might talk about that a little bit.
Hot off the press. Originally, we heard that they weren't going to do open announcements. But
now they said they're going to.
HQ said they were going to. I posted that last night.
Well, how about that? So what's that mean?
They didn't say how. I don't think there's going to be a media team or anything involved. Or to say raw live streams is the way they put it.
They're going to live stream from certain boxes throughout the world. I think they named 3 for the first week, like Brazil.
Yeah, like France, UK, and Brazil or something, I believe.
So that'll be that's going to be interesting.
And they're supposed to do 2 or 3 cities, I think, each week. The simultaneous announcements or releases.
What is that?
That's just going to bog down the servers. If it's just going to be like a live, somebody holding an iPhone, it's just going to bog it down.
But they still haven't said if Castro is going to have anything to do with any of them. It's going to be weird not seeing him at one of them. Or
they said he is still programming for the Open and the Games this year.
Well, can I just be the first to go out and say, not the first to say this, but just in this podcast, I'm all about if you own your own business, you got to do what's right for your business, you think. But old man Greisman has lost his mind.
Yeah.
He's lost his mind. He's drunk.
He's something.
Again, I just say this. Listen, the man came up with a methodology that's obviously fantastic and impacting people in the world. But you get to a certain point, it's like Ross does CrossFit, but Ross doesn't need to be the ambassador of, there are some things about medical numbers and stuff that are great that I can be an ambassador about. But I'm a big boy, and it's hard for me to lose some weight. But Greg is getting older. He's limping around.
He's always had that limp.
Right, but it looks worse when he's older.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, let the people do what they're doing, and especially after that podcast that
Sean Woodland and Tommy Marquez.
Yeah, where they talked about there was an opportunity to kind of split it off.
Talking Elite Fitness.
Talking Elite Fitness. Right. That's a good podcast.
Really good.
You guys haven't heard it yet.
I think that's at some point, like, you have to understand. Like, I understand what Glassman wants to accomplish, but you can't forget that CrossFit wouldn't be where CrossFit is without the games.
Most definitely.
And it's not just about the games. Like Chase or Talking Elite Fitness talked about it. It's like every time they did an update show, they came out with somebody's story.
Yes.
I lost 200 pounds. I lost, I don't have diabetes anymore.
Yeah. It was a chance for them to get the community involved and show these stories and reach out to people.
So without the media staff there, it's like, are we going to continue to see that kind of stuff, or what are we going to see?
Well, I think Mars and Hebert are trying to do their own thing and do some stuff where they're mainly focused on athletes.
That's not CrossFit, right? I mean, that's not CrossFit HQ, right. And that's who should.
Well,
push
CrossFit
that
HQ
message.
has decided that what they're going to put out is they've turned the studio into the Married with Children Archie Bunker living room, and that's what I'm saying is it's fantastic to see. I love seeing the videos of senior citizens that have gone in and they're doing things and they're getting mobility back and that type thing. But it's almost like Greg is putting his emphasis towards an older crowd versus the younger crowd. And I would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for the CrossFit Games.
I wouldn't be either.
It's what intrigued me. It's what got me interested in it. It's what got me looking into it and going that way.
Yeah,
I agree. And there are many, 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 many people out there like that. And so,
same for any other sport. It's like basketball or football. Kids watch these games and see these people.
Like that's a good point. Like if you stop showing football games on TV, if you stop showing baseball games on TV, and you limit it to only spectators that attend the sport, like those sports, it would die off.
Yes.
Like not only would it die off, you wouldn't have the funds, the money to keep those teams going, because so much of it evolves around entertainment and TV.
Yeah.
But in business, there are so many examples out there where you have a company that started something, and there was something they were doing that became big, and they just didn't take it and throw it in the closet. They find a way to spin that off.
Yeah, you just make another division of it.
I completely understand his mindset and his vision of what he wants to do. But you've also got this animal that's growing over here, and it's almost like a little bit of an ego thing. Mm-hmm. This has gotten bigger than this, so I don't care about this. And especially when you have someone who can say, when worked out where it could have been spun off, let the games be the games, a subsidiary of that, and pays money back to HQ. HQ's not putting any money in it, right? It would have to be self-funded. Then when you say no to that, that's an ego play.
Yeah. That's a quick knee-jerk reaction.
The CrossFit Games, Dave Castro is more important than Greg Glassman and the CrossFit methodology.
I mean, you have to just think, if you say, how many people were in the Open last year?
A lot.
They just said that on the podcast, 460 or 70,000 is where it ended up being.
Just say 460, right? That's $9,200,000.
Just off open participation.
Just off of open participants. And it's not, then you go from there, historically you go into first sectionals and then it went to regionals, right? Mm-hmm. And you figure out the amount of it costs to put on those events, but you know as well as anybody else, like the cost associated with putting on the events versus the cost that you get from doing an event, like especially when you start advertising and you start sending it through TVs, like the money that you make off that is always more.
Oh yeah,
always more. Like it would
like
fund itself.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't even try to go through a process of cutting the cost of it. They just cut
it completely.
Cut it completely. And I mean, I don't know. It is what it is.
I'm interested to see where it goes, because if you say half the people register for the Open, and right there you went from $9 million of revenue to $4.5 million for the year off of one product, you got to say at some point, like, "Ooh, wait a minute, was that the right decision?"
Yeah.
They haven't got my $25 yet.
Yeah. Is it 25 this year?
Is it? What was it?
20.
20. Well, they haven't got my 20 yet.
They will get my 20.
Well,
and they'll get another 10 on top of that for the judges course that you have to do every year.
And I was just telling you about this the other day, or you probably heard on that podcast, Sean Woodland. Apparently he was able to look up the numbers. So this was from last week, so it's probably like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. But he said at that point there were only roughly 30,000 men signed up for the Open so far.
Where it's like prior to it was like 200
and some thousand.
The percentages of differences are crazy.
And at that point you're 5 weeks out or so. We're only a couple weeks out from the Open right now.
I signed up day one the past 2 years. I haven't signed.
Well, I mean, they haven't pushed it, and the big thing on the affiliates, there's an affiliate owner site on Facebook, or a group, I guess, and everybody's talking about it. Like, what are we doing this year? What is your box doing? What's your participation look like? And everybody across the board is, last year I had 300 members sign up for the Open. By this time this year I've got 5, 6, 3, And the difference is, I think if it keeps going the way it's going, is you'll have less people sign up for the Open, and the only people that will sign up for the Open are the people trying to get to the games. I think is what will happen.
Most definitely.
Because otherwise,
that's what we're steering towards.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you'll have every box is doing their own Friday night lights, Thursday night preview, or they're doing their own box thing, and that's what.
I mean, it was fun to get together on Fridays and watch the live announcements. Yeah. Athletes going head to head. Thursday, yeah. Roe versus Boz.
Friday nights are like the most fun I have all year long. So it's 5 weeks.
Okay, so we trashed CrossFit enough. So
I love CrossFit. I'm not trying to trash CrossFit. I'm just saying, like,
trashing.
Nobody likes
trashing.
Nobody likes change. It could be good, it could be bad.
Don't look down on CrossFit for this. And if you're thinking about the Open, definitely do the Open if you've never done it.
I agree.
Don't let us, we're talking about, deter you whatsoever. If you've never done it or only done it once or twice, you need to do it.
Well,
you're going to push yourself somewhere else you never would and be able to do things that normally don't happen. It's a great time.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It's definitely a great time.
Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
No way was I trying to say you shouldn't do the Open.
No.
So what are we doing Friday night? Talk about that a little bit.
All right, so
because this will come out, because it don't start until when? End of February?
Yeah, last week of February the Open starts.
So this will come out next week. So
the 21st, I believe, the first week.
Well, what's really cool about the Open, if it continues the way it's going, like Sean came in the other day, and the program that you're following, they had rowing and thrusters.
Mm-hmm.
Rowing and thrusters came up, which we've got it coming up in our programming too. And he was like, "Man, I wish I knew my score." And I was like, "Dude, you can go back and look at that on the game site. Like, that leaderboard's still there." And he's like, "Really?" Absolutely. Like, I can. What's cool about that is I can go back. When I started CrossFit, my first Open, my scores were still in there, and that's really cool because you can see where you've come.
Yes.
But as far as the box, that's a different thing. Our throwdown is free. Last chance to sign up for that is Friday. You'll get drafted. We'll put teams together. I'm working on a format now. But all the captains will get together, draft, and we'll figure out how we're going to score points, what the theme should be every Friday night, and all that good stuff. Your captains this year, they're all ladies.
Are you gonna reveal that?
It's going to be a fun time. Yep. I'll talk about it. Tiffany Duggins is a captain. Lisa Basco is a captain. Stephanie is a captain, and Susie.
Only reason I know that, she told me the other day.
Yeah,
Susie
I didn't know we
Susie
had
calls the
captains.
Yeah. So it's gonna be super fun, and I think what's super cool is because they are actually super competitive, and within their group, I think you're going to see some super competitiveness come out. They're gonna
I'm open for bribes right now.
open for bribes.
If you want a mediocre RX athlete, I'm open for bribes.
whatever.
I caught some grief about that a couple years ago. Working hard on getting you on the team.
So-
You know what I'm saying?
But it's going to be a draft, so it's like, where are you going to come up in your draft? Because you got to be smart in that.
Well, this year you're drafting. You don't have to be signed up for the Open to be drafted.
you have to be signed up for the Throwdown, which is through
Right.
Tribe. If you want to do Friday Night Live.
But you don't have to be signed up for the Open because when we did it 2 years ago, you had to be signed up for the Open.
But the reason for that was because people were trying to go to the games that year, and if the way it worked that year is if you had so many people sign up for the Open, as an affiliate, the affiliate got first dibs on tickets
Yes.
for the games. So that was really important.
Let's rephrase that. People were trying to go spectate, at the games.
So we needed.
I love our people here, but I don't think anybody's going to games around here.
I mean, I might go to the game.
You might go visit.
So I'm going.
You might go.
You
might go judge.
Hey, you never know.
Look, he ain't 50.
We
yet.
already said the numbers are down, so the competition numbers are dropping.
Competition is down, man. It's down.
It's fittest in USA, not the fittest on
Actually,
Indiana.
It's world. I think it's going to be the world for the Masters.
Is it?
Historically, they've done across
Okay, well,
the
it's
board
not.
for Masters.
Okay, well, it's not fittest on Indiana Boulevard.
Oh, that wouldn't be me either. I can get fittest in that Kia right there at a certain point of the day. Layla jumps in, and then I'm second fittest in the damn Kia. So at some point of the day, I can get fittest.
That's right.
So we're going to draft. You sign up. You got to be signed up on Tribe to
You sign up on
participate in the
Friday. By
throwdown,
Friday.
and then then you get the 4 ladies that are going to be drafting from those people who signed up, and then we'll have the Friday Night Lights.
Yep, we'll have a leaderboard, so you'll have age groups. So I just kept it simple. So less than 35 is one age group, greater than 35 is the other age group. Male, female,
Scaled, non-scaled.
scaled, and RX.
Right.
Yep.
Oh,
You score
there's
points that
not
way.
going to be an intermediate or beginner level.
No. There might be in the Open. They might. I haven't seen the standards yet.
I was being sarcastic.
Well, I wasn't. There might be. There might be. You never know.
I'd be sarcastic about our new Tribe ranking deals.
There are people, speaking of which, people are butthurt about that, and it's
Why did you call it butthurt? That's not right.
not even a. I
Okay,
know it says
we
beginner.
were happy about the throwdown. I'm not gonna let him go down this path.
I just want
What's
to
our
put it out
next-
there right there.
Is- hold on.
Sometimes it is okay. Like just because it says beginner, it's just different options, right? It's just whatever's going to work for you that day, depending on how your body feels, and that's important. You should listen to how your body feels. Like, for instance, this week, like I've only been rowing because my calves hurt so damn bad, and I know people give me hell about it, but my calves hurt so bad I could barely walk Monday and Tuesday.
What'd you do to hurt your calves?
Well, I wanted to be somewhat respectable on the leaderboard on Friday, and I rebounded on my box jumps. Still didn't get to a respectable placing, but that's not the point. I rebounded on my box jumps, and it just did a number on my calves. Like, they still hurt.
Like, people like you, Ross, will probably be upset no matter how we word it. RX, intermediate, beginner. It could say option A, B, and C, and be like, why have I got to be option C?
It's a middle.
Why has it got to be,
Listen, for fat old men like me, it's a mental game.
You know what?
You come in and you're like, okay, and you go, but that's
human beings.
Most days we're lucky. Let me point this out. Most days, somebody like Grady or Austin come to 5:30 a.m. every day, or Darren, and then on the flip side, females, Melissa, Catherine, and them. So you're pretty fortunate. You got good athletes to come in and be like, well, that's what they did, so that's what you should be shooting for when you're doing these workouts.
Okay.
No matter how you scale, your score should be fairly similar to what they're doing.
okay. I mean, I'm just a fat old man that's been doing this for 3.5 years. That's all.
I'm just a semi-fat old man. I've been doing
But they're
it for
not
6.
fat. What are you? Or did you gain 2 pounds? Or are you up from 215 now? You up 217?
I'm up to 216 from this weekend. I still haven't dropped that alcohol water weight yet. But
You're just a semi-older man who's in way better shape than he was 3 years ago.
this is true. You have to
I ain't dropping nothing.
positive thinking.
I ain't dropping nothing.
Positive thinking. All right, so where were we?
I don't know where we're.
You're finishing up Friday Night Lights, the throwdown.
Friday
what
Night
all we're
Lights. That's
doing.
going to be super fun. More information to come out soon because I don't really know what the teams are looking like. But if you want to be drafted, you've got until Friday to be a part of a team. Don't be that person on Saturday that's like, yo, why didn't I get picked up? Why didn't I, nobody wanted me? And I'll be like, well, you kind of didn't sign up. So kind of you didn't want to. So, yeah, there's that.
Let's let's talk a little bit about any thoughts you might have had after the podcast we have with Camille about nutrition. So you guys have been doing this for a while and everything. Did you learn anything? Did you reaffirm anything? What do you think?
I could talk about nutrition for days upon days. So I have a different belief. I have, and it's a tiered system that I think about. Her RMR, your resting metabolic rate, is right on to where mine is when you guys compared my numbers, and I use MyFitnessPal for that because it's easier. It does all that stuff for you, and you have to take into consideration like your resting metabolic rate isn't laying in a bed catatonic all day. It's the average American with a desk job. So you're gonna get up, you're gonna get dressed, you're gonna get in the car, you're not gonna run to work. You're gonna take a bus or take a train or walk to work, and then do the roof rush on the way home. Like that's your basic rate. So mine came in at 2,400 calories, which is about where I am, and I don't add extra for my workouts, calorie wise. So I like that, but my approach is I don't focus too much on macros. I think you hit certain levels where you have to start changing, and I would say, hey, look, if John came to me, he's like, hey, I want to lose some weight, I'm going to adjust. I would take his RMR and I'm going to adjust him for only calories, because if you take somebody that doesn't follow a diet and you say, I want you at these macros, first of all, people are like, what the hell is a macro? And how do I figure that out of a piece of chicken? What's the macros? Right? And people that don't know, they're like, oh, there's so much fat, there's so much protein, there's so much carbs in one piece of food. And the reality is you're only taking, if it's a protein, you're only taking the protein out of that, right? When you're trying to figure out your macros.
Yeah.
So my belief is if John comes to me and he's 30 pounds overweight, I'm going to say, I'm going to take his age, his height, and his weight. I'm going to figure out what his resting metabolic rate is, and I'm going to put him in a caloric deficit. You forgot to charge that.
No.
I'm going to put him in a caloric deficit as he fills out a journal. And we're going to meet once a week, and we're going to look at his calories the day before, his workout journals for the next day, and we're going to adjust calories based on how he feels. And, of course, looking at his weight week by week. Mm-hmm. And eventually, you or whoever it is going to lose weight, and they're going to do really good, and then they're going to plateau out. And when they plateau out you should see is either workouts are staying the same, so we know that his calories are probably pretty good, and his body composition is changing in the direction we want it. But again, that will also plateau out. And once that happens, he's already used to dieting. He's made that lifestyle change and say, okay, this is what I eat, this is what I'm used to eating, and he wants to perform better. That's at the point where I would say, okay, we're going to look at macros. We're not going to change the calorie content, but we're going to change how you're taking those calories in. And me personally, that's what I find people do better with. Because if you can't follow, starting out, if you can't follow or keep track of the calories you're taking in and hold to that, no way you make macros. No way. So I think it's like baby steps. You have to start and build, otherwise it will never work. So that's my take on that. I don't know. I mean, I think you do macros, right? Or you just do the seafood diet?
Yeah.
That's my diet.
I just eat.
I mean, when you work out as many times as John does, like you basically have to eat. And people need to understand that. Like I always think back to like Michael Phelps. Is like when Michael Phelps is in a training session, like he's taking in 8,000 calories a day. And that's a world-class athlete. And the same could be said for anybody else. When you work out 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, you need to eat. Otherwise, you have the reverse effects. The human body naturally wants to store fat because human beings are gatherers, right? So, I mean, the primal instinct is, I want to store fat because fat has the most amount of stored energy, right? So if your body thinks it's starving itself, you will actually end up being skinny fat. That's what's going to end up happening to you.
Exactly.
That's why I say at certain points, certain levels, you need to start changing up how you take in those calories. One, make sure you're taking enough calories because you can only be in a deficit for so long. I'll get off my soapbox. That's how I look at nutrition.
Yeah, it's just it's a challenging thing.
It is a challenging thing.
It's a challenging thing, but and there's just so much information out there, and I think the biggest thing that I have to fight with is just remembering the long haul. Because I've been through it before, and I'm doing. I'm better off than I was 3.5 years ago. Right. But it's a long haul, and I have a buddy of mine who's a Chick-fil-A. He's a Chick-fil-A owner also, but about I think it's been 2 years now, 2 or 3 years.
Josh is losing it.
Josh is losing.
Super inspiring.
Yeah, you follow him on Instagram? And he was a guy. He was in Tennessee, and he actually bought a pair of lifters from me before.
I didn't realize he was a Chick-fil-A owner. I didn't even know.
Yeah, he's a Chick-fil-A owner.
I didn't know that until recently.
Yeah, and he moved to Maryland, but he's lost 150 pounds and just killing it. And I'm going, I lost 150 pounds. Well, I didn't need to lose 150 pounds. He started at 370 pounds. So. He's a good guy. We're actually getting ready to go to our corporate seminar this week. He's not going to be there because they're due. They have their 7th child is due.
Wow.
That made me lose weight just stressing.
So if y'all want to check him out, he's on Instagram. Josh is losing it. And he's a good dude. But it's super challenging. And
so here's how I look at it, and it's simple, and nobody can dispute this part of nutrition. Okay, calories in is calories out.
Right.
That will always hold true. There's nobody will ever say nobody can fight that statement. Calories in is calories out. Okay, if you need to lose weight, the easiest way to do it and maintain it is 1 to 2 pounds a week of weight loss. Okay, and if you figure that out, a pound of weight is equal to 3,500 calories. So with that little bit right there, nobody can refute that. Like, that's all the science says the same thing. If you want to lose weight, you have to reduce your calories.
Right.
Calories in, calories out.
And you want to do it the right way with nutritional food and good things. But that guy did that experiment where he ate 2,000 calories a day.
Oh, that's just an awful thing to do with your body.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the right thing. But he ate what? He ate little Davy cakes or something. He ate something, the same thing every day, and then he switched over to Doritos. He was the 7-Eleven diet. Yeah. And he lost like 30 pounds or something. Now that's not the way to do it. No. And you would probably starve yourself because it's all empty calories and nothing's going to hold on to you. But it is a classic example of calories in and then calories out. So,
and one thing I don't, just not to be honest with you, empty calories. Well, you need to define that and say empty calories are calories that don't do anything for you nutritionally wise. There's not a such thing as, hey, I took in 300 calories today, but it's okay because they're empty calories. Mm-hmm. Not true. Like, that just means it doesn't really do your body any good.
Alcohol. Yeah. Empty calories.
No, those are good calories.
No, they're not.
Sometimes they're needed calories. Okay.
They're empty.
Okay, so I'll get off my box for that. Just wanted to point that out there. People get confused. But when I say calories in, calories out, if you drink 1,000 calories of alcohol, you still need to count. Those are still calories in. They're not, just because they're named empty doesn't mean you can't count them. You can't, you need to count them.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from what Camille said, if you break that whole podcast down, like you just said, calories, watch your calories, and just make better choices. Just think about what you're eating and how much you're eating every time you sit there.
You know, the biggest change for me when we started the challenge is I like to eat. I like food. But I also, with that said, I can eat chicken, rice all week long because it's easier. It's the easiest thing for me to make. And since I started going to Clean Eats, I'm not sponsored by Clean Eats.
Shout out Clean Eats.
Shout out to Clean Eats, though. They send you the right meal, the right portions for the average person. You know, somebody like John or Travis, taking a little bit more carbs, a little bit more proteins, and they give you an option for that. But if you look at the right portions that you're supposed to eat, it's mind-blowing. Because if like you go to my house, like my plates are like this big. You know, if you fill up that plate and sit there and eat it, you've literally eaten enough food for the entire day.
No, definitely.
It's so funny you bring that up about portion size. So I told you we're getting ready to go to our corporate seminar. And so we're leaving tonight to stay in Raleigh. And we're flying out tomorrow to California. We're going out a couple days early because it doesn't start until Sunday. And so Melissa was asking me, what do you want to do? I said, well, there's obviously food options that we got to go into. But we were out to dinner last night, and I said, listen, we got to make a pact. I said, there's so many different places we could check out. But what we need to do is we just need to get something somewhere, try it out, and just share it. Right, so I mean, like one of the first stops we're going to make is when we come out of LAX. There's the original place for the French dip in LA called Philippe's or something like that. And I said, she goes, well, now Melissa's all like, yeah, I always want to split. I'm like, hold on a minute. No, you can't. Like, we're going to be on like a little vacation, so we're going to eat the bad stuff, but we need to split it. So you can't be like, oh yeah, can I get the burger with no bread? And blah, blah. I'm like, no, we gotta we're gonna get one, we're gonna cut it down that middle, and we're gonna try it. So we're gonna hit Philippe's, we're in and out, gotta hit in and out.
So do you split things in portions to body weight? Because when I split things this way, I'm like, I should get a little bit more than half.
Feel the same way. I tell
I'm a
Brittany
bigger
that all the
guy.
time.
I need more calories. I should get just a little bit more than half.
That kind of defeats the purpose of where we're trying to go with that.
I know, I'm just saying, but it popped in my head, and
Well, Melissa will usually go. When I serve portions and stuff like that, she'll usually like, hey, you want these last couple a little bit or something like that. So because she doesn't eat as much, obviously, but
Brittany never does.
I was about to say, I bet
Brittany
you don't have that problem.
No.
Every morning we make eggs, I try to split where I get a little bit more. She's always like, why you got more eggs than I do? I'm like, I weigh 50 pounds more than you do. I can't get a few more eggs. No, that's not half. Like,
oh my goodness.
I can totally see her like that.
Yeah, she's not sharing anything, trust me.
She wouldn't share with you. She'd put it in the fridge and save it for later.
Yeah, like, you can't have that.
But anyway, you said that about portions. We talk about it too. If you can honestly come to an agreement when you go out.
Yep.
And say, this is what we're going to get.
Because the reality is, if you go out and you share a plate, that's the right amount of food for you.
It's so much food.
You're right.
It's so much food. Now, there's some places you can go. It's so funny. There are places you can go out to eat at a certain price point. Mm-hmm. And you're like, what are you... I'm not 4 people. What is this you're bringing me? Mm-hmm. But then there's another price point that you can move to.
And you're like, you going to bring me some more food?
Exactly.
Yes.
What is this?
What is it?
I paid $20 for one ravioli?
What you doing?
What's going on here?
I know. We went to Maggiano's down in Charlotte a year ago or something like that. And we ordered our food, and she goes, okay, y'all get a take-home pasta. Well, the thing, we got to-go or doggy bag stuff for what they brought us. And then they brought us this whole nother bag of I'm like, no wonder everybody's fat.
Yep. I think it's cool though. I mean, we recognize that as Americans. For instance, I was a big kid, right? So I always worry about my kids being big, especially, being a gym owner. It's I want my kids to be sort of fit, But it's interesting, Cameron the other day, she's like, what is my plate? And we started talking about my plate, where they're talking about portion controlling on a plate, And I thought that was pretty cool. But I think the difference is, grandparents, if you look at our grandparents, especially if you grew up in the country, you had a big old breakfast. right? Like you needed that big old breakfast because 9 times out of 10, that generation, they weren't having lunch. They were going from breakfast all the way to dinner. Excuse me. You know, that's the way it worked, and that's the difference. And then today, it's like our generation is like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all big sizes. You know, so.
But I think one of the things to say about all of this is, if you're listening to this, you know that the struggle is real, and the struggle is real with whether you're a big person, whether you're not a big person, and someone like he probably doesn't have to work as hard about it as you do. I have to work at it harder than you do, and then there's this wide spectrum of folks in the gym that is a challenging process for everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think one good thing would be, if you have somebody that you're friends with or something like that, having an accountability partner during that process can be really good. But before you enter into anything like that, make sure you're willing to listen to that person that's going to go and say, hey, do you really need that donut? Or is there some goals that you're trying to reach? You know? And this challenge should present itself to have some of that. Yep. I don't know if people can get past the competitive side to seek out some, accountability aspects and stuff like that. But there's some, I looked at the leaderboard the other night and I'm like 31st, and I'm
33rd.
And it's because I don't think I haven't done any wall balls yet or something, but I don't have a lot of. I've given my body a rest from the gym this week.
You've only rode 30,000 calories,
well,
30,000 meters this week.
I'm just rolling.
I think that, and you should be supportive. Like, so me and Layla, like, I know how to drop weight fairly efficiently. So, and she'll get mad because not get mad, but I can drop weight. I can drop 2 or 3 pounds every week comfortably, and I'm fine with it. But in that same week, I'm okay with dropping weight, and I'll eat like 6 donuts. And Layla's like, how in the heck do you do that? And I'm like, it's calories in, calories out. Like, it's a simple formula. Like, I know if I have those donuts, like, the rest of the day, like, I'm going to suffer because if you figure out macro-wise, I'm 100% carbs for the day, but calorie-wise, I'm at 2,400 calories. My calories are still calories in, calories out. And so I guess, like, be supportive of your spouse or significant other. For instance, if they have a problem, like, we're in a challenge, don't bring donuts and cupcakes to the box. Like, that's like taking a 6-pack of beer to a damn Alcoholics Anonymous meeting,
No kidding.
Know what I'm saying?
No kidding.
What was the other thing we wanted to hit besides nutrition? Because we could talk about that forever.
I think that was it. I mean, I don't think we really have enough time to get into anything else. So really, at a kind of getting to a point of wrapping up. Did want to bring up are we going to do the Fireball 10K?
If somebody was willing to sign waivers, not holding me responsible for whatever happens after that.
But if we do it, I think we do it to raise some money.
I would do the Fireball 10K before I did the beer mile.
Oh yeah,
like I still vividly remember seeing that video of them doing the beer mile, and I'm like,
I got nothing for you on that. But
won't do that.
The Fireball 10K could be something that we could raise money for and stuff like that.
I'm just trying to figure out what you do after that, because you're gonna be buzzed up.
But you got to make sure you have somebody drive you home or something like that.
No, but we won't want to go home. Like, we need to find an activity to do after that. Because if I stop moving after 10 shots of Fireball, because that's what you're gonna have, like, I'm gonna be in a bad place. Like, I need to.
Got to keep moving.
I need to keep moving.
Maybe we'll just think about this after the challenge.
Yeah, we won't do it till after the challenge.
Summertime. We're gonna figure out how. But it'd be kind of cool if we could
do a fundraiser,
maybe include some other boxes, and that type thing, and just see what comes of it. I mean, listen, I don't want to.
Like, I have that like dry heaving feeling in my throat.
I don't want to. I don't think I would ever. There's not really many situations that would compel me to want to take 10 shots of Fireball.
10 shots of anything.
Exactly. But if we can raise money for Navy SEALs or for some military families or something like that, I'm all in.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I'm all in. So, well, we need to again
Shout out to the sponsors.
bring
Sponsors?
up. Well, no, not sponsors
Not
yet.
yet,
We
not
still.
there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Still got a couple more minutes.
The timekeeper says we're not there yet. Bring up again. We need ideas for the podcast.
Need ideas for podcast. Need a name.
If you some names.
Need some names.
If there's anything you want to hear us just ramble on about,
Because we can do that for a long time.
we can.
Yes.
I will tell you that we're not trying to be too organized whatsoever.
We are not an organized
Right.
podcast. So if that's what you're looking for, wrong one.
We sat down, and Reggie said, "What are we going to talk about for 45 minutes?" And we have literally 5 minutes left. If that tells you anything.
Oh.
So ideas for the podcast. Anybody in the gym that you would like to have talk on the podcast, and I know in the future podcast we can probably tell our stories a little bit and let people
I have an interesting story.
Yeah, you do. We already know the John Bates story.
Yeah.
The
Know
John
some of
Bates.
mine.
Yeah.
I think you should work on your memoirs book or something.
Write stories.
Yeah, man.
So I was just thinking, I think get Mike Tramble on here or Ron Cole, because they travel to different countries a lot.
You know,
and
I'm
talk
interested to hear
different
about your story, to be honest with you. Military, Chick-fil-A, like there's a lot of history there I'm interested to know about.
This is
that might
true.
be-
I mean, how does one go from working like 100 hours a week to, I'm gonna work 5 this week? You know what I'm saying? Like that's motivating.
Well, first of all, I don't think I ever got to I don't know if I've ever done 100 in 1 week. Definitely 70, but not 100.
I've worked 86 1 week.
Well, I'd say we only did 70 because we're closed on Sundays.
Oh, speaking of which, you're closed on Sundays, but your corporate meeting starts on a Sunday. How does that work?
There's nothing. We don't sell on Sundays. We're not open for business on Sundays.
Right, but you're starting a corporate meeting on a Sunday.
It's travel day.
Sunday's a travel day.
Sunday's a travel day,
Okay.
and then there'll be an optional worship thing at 6 o'clock Sunday
gotcha.
night if you want to go to.
Gotcha.
Hillsong, not Hillsong United, but Hillsong Worship will be leading music there, and Bob Golf, I think he's a author, is speaking. We do have some garages that day, but that is just a because we've cut the time down. It used to be full travel day on Sunday. Seminar started on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday was travel day. But now we do a little bit on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, half day Wednesday, and then people leave.
Right.
But we're staying Wednesday night and flying out the next morning because we just don't want to get in the hubla, the hoobla blah, whatever. All right, it's a good deal. Sponsors. You got a lot of Reebok and Camel City CrossFit joggers
this
all
is
over
actually
there.
Progenics.
Oh, is that?
This is Progenics.
My bad.
It just matches my my pants. I forgot I had this shirt actually. Found it laying around.
How do I turn this off?
Reach the time
There.
limit.
Good Lord. That was
Time
40.
limit.
That was 43 minutes. Went by like that, didn't it?
2 minutes to close it. Shout out to Starbucks.
Shout out
Thanks,
to
Ross,
Starbucks.
for bringing us to Starbucks.
And go Nears, App State.
Nears?
Nears is what they say. Go Nears.
Mountaineers?
Mountaineers, but
Mountaineers.
that's what Kara says. Go Nears. Yeah.
Appalachian State.
Appalachian.
Not Appalachian State.
Appalachian.
Did you get that, Marcus? It's not Appalachian.
Not Appalachian.
Does Marcus say Appalachian?
Yeah, somebody created it the other day. It's not the I can't even say it. Say it. Appalachian.
Appalachian? Appalachian?
It's not the Appalachian Games, it's the Appalachian Games.
Goodbye. Peace.